Welcome back to my hardcore Nuzlocke of Pokémon Emerald using only single stage Pokémon. In the last episode, we made it all the way to Fort Tree City and had one of the cleanest Winona fights I've ever seen. And the team is starting to look a bit different now with our latest encounters. Absol and Tropius should be a lot of fun to use. The exploration of the eastern side of Hoenn continues. Let's do this. With our newest members all trained up, it's time to take on Route 120 through 123 as we head over to Lily Cove City. I trained up our Absol in attack and speed, while I went for more of a defensive approach with Tropius. Absol also has an adamant nature, which is fantastic, but I'll have to be careful with how I use him, because I can't remember the last time I've used a Pokemon this frail. There's not too much to go over with Route 120 for this particular challenge, with the only really useful pickup being the TM for Sunny Day on the Scorched Slab. It could come in handy later on. Otherwise, while I love this route visually and thematically, I tend to skip it very often because this is another very dangerous path to take head on. If you're playing Emerald, you'll want to watch out for Ace Trainer Lionel and his Manectric. This Manectric has Thunder, and need I remind you that it's constantly raining on this route, so this Thunder will never miss. I usually tend to avoid all the trainers I can on this route and just move on to the more mechanically interesting routes that come after. But for this playthrough, I decided to give this fight a go. And it goes way better than I could have expected, with Kecleon flexing on this thing with a critical slash. Trust me, that fight usually goes a bit differently. I blow through the rest of Route 120 and take on a bunch of the trainers over on Route 121. I'm looking to make a quick stop in Lily Cove so I can pick up some items and visit the Pokemon Center so I can get that flight path. The trainers on this route are not all that interesting for the most part, but with the Amulet Coin equipped, I am more than happy to take their money. But what is interesting about this route is the presence of the Safari Zone, where we'll be getting our next encounter. Hopefully. Safari Zone encounters are always a little bit annoying to obtain. I have 3 possible encounters here in Heracross, Pinsir, and Girafarig, and I get my choice of which one I want as well, as they can be encountered in completely different areas of the Safari Zone. Now, if you remember earlier in the series, I did say that I would ban Heracross for the first few attempts, as he is clearly the obvious choice out of these 3, and I'm gonna stick with that plan. I've already had pretty great success with Girafarig in the past, but Heracross is on another level, and would certainly make my life a lot easier. With that being said, since I have used that Girafarig in a recent run, and I have not used Pinsir since Pokemon Blue version, I'm gonna go with Pinsir for this run, even though he fills basically the same role as Absol for the most part. Although, looking into Pinsir a bit more, he honestly seems like he might have an edge on our newest team member. He's got just as much attack, he is so much bulkier, and he's even faster. Pinsir's ability in Hyper Cutter is actually a lot more useful as well, preventing other Pokemon from lowering his best stat. Wait. This thing gets Brick Break, Feel Level Up, and has access to Bulk Up and Earthquake? Alright, well on paper, it looks like Pinsir's got Absol pretty badly in this generation after all. These are some sweet moves. I'm getting ahead of myself though. I need to actually use him for a bit before I can pass judgment, and to see how he stacks up against the rest of the boss fights in the game too. The dark typing from Absol is probably more useful than Bug in the long run, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't excited to use this guy. And in addition to Pinsir, we also pick up the TM for Solar Beam, which is also pretty neat, I guess. From the Safari Zone, I head south to Route 122 and 123, where I can pick up a few more items and train a bit more. Remember when I said Route 118 was one of the shortest routes in the game? Well, 122 has it beat, I think, at least in terms of being the most barren. They honestly could have just considered the water route surrounding Mount Pyre as part of Mount Pyre, but I guess that would technically give us Nuzlockers less encounters. Not that we really need the extra water encounter anyway, though. The chances of not having all of the Pokemon you can catch on this route is pretty slim by this point in the game. On Route 123, we can pick up some pretty great berries of the Citrus and Lepa variety, and we can actually grab the TM for Giga Drain in this run, because I actually have a Grass type on the team. I guess by default it would go to Tropius, but I'd rather it go on something else with a bit more offensive firepower if possible. Other than a rare candy and a couple of PP ups, Route 123 is already finished. It's a nice little connector route, but there's not a whole lot that stands out as far as the surroundings go. It's very hilly, I guess, but not in as interesting of a way compared to like the Jagged Pass, for example. Moving right along to a very interesting place in Mount Pyre. One of, if not the best Pokemon tower in the series for me. It has a fantastic theme, challenging trainers, Boba Fett's give me anxiety, and some incredible items to pick up in Shadow Ball, Sea Incense, Lax Incense, Skill Swap. Just so many great things are in here. The summit is a nice contrast compared to the inside of the tower, and the fact that the story ties into this place as well makes it feel a lot more important than some of the other towers do. After reaching the summit and dealing with Archie and some old people, no, I will not listen to your story again, I almost forgot our newest encounter. Atop this mountain of Pyre, we can pick ourselves up a Chimecho. Chimecho doesn't have the highest of base stat totals, but it does use its stats pretty efficiently. Plus, it's a special attacker, which I think we may need a bit more of on our side. The move pool kinda sucks though, but Chimecho's got a bit of utility that might make up for that. I head back to Lily Cove to heal up and deal with our rival one last time. The last fight with your rival may be the most insulting part of this whole game. Why did Game Freak make them so bad? A Slugma and a Tropius, who are some of the worst Pokemon in the game? Actually, Slugma may be the worst now that I think about it. Their starter doesn't fully evolve, and his moveset on Ludicolo makes me cry tears of pain. Not to mention only 4 Pokemon? I'll never understand this decision, especially in the 3rd game of the generation. Like, you had a chance to fix this, but you still messed it up. Now that all of the new routes are cleared out, it's time to take on both of the evil teams, starting with the Team Magma Hideout within the Jagged Pass. The only thing this place is great for is farming wild Pokemon for some pretty great experience per hour. Plus, it's probably the best spot in the game for gaining defense EVs if you're looking to bulk up some of your team members. But I'm not about doing any of that right now, so let's get into a quick team review for Maxi. I'm leading off with Pinsir to take on Maxi's Mightyena one-on-one. Pinsir is very well equipped to deal with what Mightyena has. Hyper Cutter will cancel out the Intimidate, Brick Break is super effective, and I'm having Pinsir hold a Person Berry, which will essentially net us a free attack boost if Mightyena decides to go for Swagger. Castform is here to take out Maxi's Ace Camerupt with a Rain Dance boosted Weather Ball. How will I be able to get Castform in and pull that off safely? Well, you'll see. Kecleon is up next, and he should be able to take out Crobat without too much of an issue. He is also holding a Person Berry to mitigate that Confuse Ray. Minun will be used as a backup for Kecleon on Crobat mostly, and that's about it. Tropius could be used on Camerupt if something goes really wrong, but I'm not sure if he'll be able to do much. I can pretty reliably switch him in on an Earthquake, but his offensive stats are so poor that I'm not sure it'll matter. I probably should have just brought Solrock, honestly. Not sure why I didn't. And last but not least, we say goodbye to this poor creature. I'm sorry, Spinda. Another run where I don't use you at all. Maybe one day. He will be used here as a strategic sacrifice on Camerupt to safely switch in my Castform. Can I get through Maxi with an underleveled team? I don't know, but let's find out. I lead with Pinsir to take this dark puppy down. The first Brick Break deals a ton, and then a Scary Face comes in to cripple our speed. Not bad for us at all though, as we will not be using Pinsir for anything else in this fight. Maxi heals up Mightyena with a Super Potion, which, I mean, come on. Surely a man possessing a status equivalent to that of a mob boss would afford something a little more, I don't know, useful? I go for another Brick Break, but then Maxi actually decides to switch into Crobat, which is actually a pretty interesting move. I don't think I've ever seen him do that before, at least in this particular battle. I switch into Minun to take the incoming wing attack, and Crobat is of course faster, so we do get hit with a Confuse Ray and hit ourselves in confusion. Luckily, our Citrus Berry gets some great use here, and we are able to try for one last Thunderbolt before we'll be forced to switch out. And luckily, the Thunderbolt lands, taking out Crobat. Naturally, Maxi sends in his Ace Camerupt next, and I'm sure we'll see a pretty meaty Earthquake here. And so... sorry, Spinda. I have reasons, okay? I'm sorry. Don't look at me like that. Camerupt goes for that Earthquake, and oh god. Oh no, this is a disaster. Oh Jesus. Farewell, Spinda. One day I'll use you, I promise. I'm sorry you had to die that way. Castform can now come in and set up his Rain Dance. And for some reason, Camerupt goes for the Amnesia. Like, I get what you're going for there, buddy, but I'm sorry, a 200 base power water move could probably still take out 2 of you, even with the special defense buff. With Camerupt down and out, Maxi sends out his Mightyena, and I just keep Cast Form in to finish the job since he's still at full health. That's Maxi number 2 in the books. And with that, this episode is now over. We've almost made it through the big slog, as we now need to approach Archie and Team Aqua before we can head over to Moss Deep City for our next badge. We have a lot more training to do as well in preparation for that gym, but I'll try to handle that offline. In the meantime, as usual, please like the video if you liked it, and subscribe for more content like this. Let me know how you guys are enjoying the series so far. That's it from me. I'll see you next time.